I get it, you're staring at a shelf full of grow kits and wondering if any of them will actually let you harvest something worth the effort without turning your apartment into a mini lab. You don't want to drop cash on a system that looks slick on paper but ends up being a headache to tweak every day, and you definitely don't want to waste space on a tent that can't keep a steady climate for the plants you care about. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. The AC Infinity AI Grow System Pro 44 is positioned as an all-in-one solution for the hobbyist who wants a little tech-savvy help without having to become a climate control engineer. The kit comes with a 4-foot square tent lined with lab-tested reflective mylar, a 4-plant full-spectrum bar grow light, a 6-inch EC inline fan, an oscillating clip fan, and the centerpiece, an AIdriven controller that talks to a Wi-Fi app. On the surface, it sounds like this set-it-and-forget-it promise many indoor growers chase. But the real question is whether the AI actually makes a difference in everyday use. First off, the tent itself is surprisingly easy to assemble. The poles snap together, the mylar panels lock into place, and the whole thing stands up in about 15 minutes if you've got a clear floor space. That matters because a lot of kits ship with a mountain of separate parts that can feel like a puzzle you never wanted. Once the frame is up, you hang the bar light across the top, attach the inline fan to the vent, and clip the oscillating fan where you think airflow will be most effective. The real magic, if you'll pardon the buzzword, starts when you power the controller and open the companion app. What the AI does is pull real-time sensor data, temperature, humidity, and even the light schedule you set, and compare it to a small history buffer it builds over the first few days. From there, it predicts whether you're about to swing into a heat spike or a humidity dip and preemptively adjusts the fans or dim the light. In practice, I found that the system kept the tent hovering around 73 F and 55% RH without me having to constantly tweak knobs. For a beginner, that's a huge confidence boost. You're not guessing whether the plant will wilt because you missed a ventilation tweak. The system nudges you before the problem becomes visible. That predictive element shines most in a real-world scenario, like growing basil and a couple of cherry tomatoes side by side. Basil loves a bit more humidity, while tomatoes can handle a drier, slightly warmer environment. The AI learns that when the light is at full intensity, the temperature tends to creep up, so it gently ramps the EC fan a notch higher. At the same time, the clip fan circulates air just enough to prevent a microclimate around the basil leaves from getting too damp. Over a 4-week vegetative cycle, I didn't have to intervene more than once to adjust the light schedule for the tomatoes' flowering phase. That said, the system isn't a miracle cure. It still relies on the basic physics of airflow and heat dissipation. So if you're in a tiny apartment with poor ventilation, you'll notice the inline fan humming louder than you might like. The 6-inch fan does a respectable job moving air, but in a very sealed room, the noise can become a background buzz that some people find distracting, especially if you're working or studying nearby. The AI also needs a few days of data before its predictions become reliable, so you'll see a bit more variability during that initial learning curve. If you're the type who likes to dial everything in manually, you might find the controller's auto-adjust mode a bit too eager, but you can always switch to manual mode in the app. Who should buy this kit? If you're a hobbyist with limited floor space, say, a bedroom or a closet, and you want to grow a handful of culinary herbs, a few microgreens, or a couple of small fruiting plants, this system gives you a tidy, tech-enhanced package that removes a lot of the guesswork. It's also a solid entry point for someone who's curious about using data to improve yields, but doesn't want to buy separate sensors and write their own scripts. The integrated Wi-Fi app means you can check on temperature or tweak the light schedule from your phone while you're at work, and the AI does the heavy lifting of smoothing out daily fluctuations. On the flip side, if you're an experienced grower who already runs a custom ventilation and lighting rig, you might view the AI controller as redundant. The kit caps at 4 plants, so commercial growers or anyone planning a larger canopy will outgrow it quickly. Budget-conscious buyers should also note that the price reflects the bundled hardware and the software ecosystem. You could buy a comparable tent, light, and fan separately for a similar total, but you'd miss the AI integration. Finally, if you have an unreliable home internet connection, the controller